Hi everyone, welcome back to TSCC Radio Broadcast. And this week we are continuing with our career interview. This time we have Joanne, who is a teacher, and I mean more specifically, she's an educator. So,
Same.
okay, so maybe you want to share with us a bit of, introduce yourself a little, how long have you been in this teaching profession and all that?
Yeah, okay, so I'm Joanne, and I'm teaching in a government school. I teach in secondary school, and I look very young, but I have been teaching for about 6 years, and I teach secondary mathematics, so it can be lower secondary, it can be upper secondary, and even additional math as well. So basically all levels is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so you're the teacher that I'll hate most back in school because I don't like math.
Oh yeah, so there's always two groups of students, the one who really hate math and the one who just like math. Yeah. Okay, we can talk about that next week, about how I teach math.
I'll try to make it fun for everyone. So, but can you tell us what made you want to teach in the first place? Has it always been something that you wanted to do right from the start?
Actually, the first profession I wanted to be was a fashion designer. But probably that was because I watched cartoon and all those lah. But after that, it was like encounters with the different, with teachers in different stages of my life that actually inspired me to want to become a teacher. So the very first encounter was in primary school. So I was a very difficult kid back then to take care of. And my mom had to force me to go to school. So that was in primary 1 when I transit from kindergarten to primary 1. And I just refused to go. It was like afternoon session. I have to force my father to come back just to bring me to school. Basically, I came up with a lot of excuses just to not want to go to school. So she had to bring a cane along with her so that if I don't want to walk to school, she will just cane along the way lah. But okay, but she didn't in the end. So in the end, what happened was why I didn't want to go to school was because of my form teacher in primary 1. She had this evil looking face.
So face problem.
No lah, I think she also, other than looking scary, it was also maybe her tone, the way that she talked was very fierce. So I just didn't want to go to school because of her. So my mom went to talk to the principal, and then I actually changed class to the next door. Then it's this very kind, caring teacher, and then I'm very happy over there. Then every day I'm very happy go to school already. Yeah, so it kind of dawned on me that the type of teacher that you encounter with, right, may change your life lah. So subsequently, I had very good teachers in primary school. I even keep in contact with them after that, and they even invited me to their house for a meal, or basically we exchanged letters as well, even though they already left the school. And then in secondary school, I met this very nice form teacher, because back then my dad got retrenched from his company, and then I had to apply for financial aid. But then the ceiling was, I forgot how much was the ceiling, but we couldn't hit. It was just right above the ceiling. But I really need the money. So in the end, she helped me to write a letter to just appeal, say that, oh, okay, this student, she need this money because the father is the sole breadwinner, and I have 2 other siblings that also need to, my parents need to pay for their education. And that extra mile touched me. So in the end, all these encounters with the different teachers, right, inspired me to become a teacher. And when eventually I became a teacher, I invited that secondary school form teacher to attend my teacher investiture ceremony. But it was a pity because she was busy. She couldn't free up her schedule. But it was nice to be able to keep in contact with her, even though it was through email only lah. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you used to be a student and then now you're a teacher, but she's still a teacher. It's a very long road, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think with your feedback, right, maybe MOE will have a prerequisite that primary school teacher, the face must be more pleasant, must smile more, then the kids will be more willing to study. Then they get more teachers, right?
No lah. Then like that, very hard to cater to everybody already.
Okay, so I think that from what you share, it sounds like this primary school teacher really changed your life, to so much that eventually even inspired you to be a teacher.
Yeah.
All right, so my question is, I mean, I understand that now you're teaching secondary school for the last 6 years, but why have you not considered being a primary school teacher instead?
I wouldn't say that I have not considered before, but I did try out teaching in primary school level. So when I was in secondary school and in my university JC and university days, I did went to try to find places which I can get to experience teaching primary school kids. So yeah, so if you see this picture over here, I actually have a very short stint during the holidays, my semester break in university. I just get to interact with students from primary 1 to primary 6. So it's a wide range. And this is actually in the student care center. So they will go to this student care after school. This student care is just right beside their primary school. So what I will do is I will guide them to do their homework. And then when it's nap time, I will babysit them, and then, okay, time to nap. And then when it's playtime, then we will play together with them as well. Yeah, so for primary school students, their energy level is super high. So even though back then I was younger, but we need to run
now
after
still young,
them.
you say
Now
still
still
very
young,
young.
now still young. But we have to really keep a very high energy to keep their attention. So I decided that, okay, maybe secondary school is better for me. And because I'm also very interested in the subject mathematics itself. So at primary school level, if you want to teach higher level of math is basically very simple, like times table, all this.
Is it?
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of Facebook posts nowadays, the primary school math,
Oh, the
all the
model.
adults also cannot do.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, like, maybe higher level, like, can be integration, differentiation, all these A math
I mean,
things.
it has been more than, I think, 2 decades since I was back in primary school. So it's not surprising that now maybe they do integration and differentiation in primary school. Right?
No, they don't. Not at that level yet.
Okay, good for
but
me.
they already started algebra. Yeah.
Yeah, I think back then we
Back
don't
then
have
we
that,
don't have.
right?
Yeah, we don't have. So so this is a trip where we even go on a learning journey with them, and it was fun. It was very fun, and it was a good experience because I get to try out something before I even go into secondary school to teach. Yeah. So with that, I also have other experiences like being a Sunday school teacher in church. So I'm very close with the primary school students in our church. So this is when they were in primary school. They are already now in secondary school. So this was some time back, and I still bring them out. So I also taught the next batch subsequently. So this is actually just yesterday where we just went out, hang out together, and these experiences really taught me like, oh, how's the energy level like? How do I speak to them? How do I keep them entertained at the primary school level? And it's really quite different. So I won't rule out to say that I won't become a primary school teacher next time. But for now, I would still want to pursue teaching in the secondary school level.
Okay, so basically primary school is more, there's a lot of needs beside purely educating them. There's a lot of other needs. I think maybe they focus more on character building. They have to do more of the managing their energy level and all that kind of things that actually you may not be so interested in because you just want to be focused on the subject that you like.
Yeah, and in primary school, they have to teach more than one subject.
Yeah, like those multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe Hazel will be a good fit, right?
Yeah, Hazel can teach any topic.
Okay. Okay, so since you have been more towards the secondary school side, but also we know that, okay, so let's try to understand a bit on what's this teaching profession like, right? So in terms of educator process from a student becoming a teacher as an educator in a school, right? What's the process like?
Okay, what you can do is you can, if you want to be a teacher, you can go into NIE, which is the National Institute of Education. So it's at NTU. And you will study there for 4 years. And what you get is the Bachelor of Education. It can be in science or in arts, depending which subject you are going to teach. So the route that I took was after my A-levels, I went to apply for this award. It's called a teaching award. So basically, it allows me to be able to go into a local university to take a degree in math. Then after that, I will go NIE for a year to take my postgraduate diploma in education. So the funny, okay, not funny, but rather the amazing thing that happened to me was, although I applied for the teaching award, which was my top option, if I failed to do so, I would just go in NIE straight. And mainly all these reasons is because it's sponsored by MOE. I don't need to pay university fees. And as I mentioned, we were in a we need the financial aid. So I don't even need to fork out my university fees if I go into the teaching career also.
Hey, by the way, how much is the university fees like for, let's say, NIE, NIE 4 years?
Oh, I'm not sure in NIE, but in local U, I think it's 7K a year for science faculty, NUS science faculty.
Then you have to go to
back then.
Then you have to go to NIE for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
But that one is sponsored, so not your problem also.
Yeah, so I didn't really find out how. I don't think maybe they don't write out, but basically it's all sponsored, so I wouldn't know how much it is also. So the amazing thing is that although I applied for teaching award, which actually sponsor not just my university fee, even if I go exchange, right, they will sponsor for me as well, and they give me monthly allowance.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's great, which is good enough already. And then when I went for the interview and I passed the interview, they tell me that they give me another kind of scholarship, which is what they call the teaching scholarship. So there's teaching award and then there's teaching scholarship. So teaching scholarship is higher tier lah, so have more money, and then basically it's more money. Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah, then I decided, so this is what God wanted me to do, right? Because I didn't even expect much.
Yeah, that's even better because you basically
you
just ask God that, okay, if it's meant for you to go to local U, then NIE, then give you the teacher award, the teaching award.
Teaching award.
Then if it's not, then you just go NIE.
Yes, if it's not, then okay lah, then no choice.
But God take one step out and say, hey, this
give me the best.
Yeah, give you more money, give you a teaching scholarship. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is good because I get to study the subject itself first. Then after that, I go study things about being a teacher, what I need to know. Yeah.
Okay, so just now you mentioned that if you go NIE, right, straight away it's just 4 years, right? And then if you go to local U, you basically do the 4 years, and then you still need to do 1 more year in NIE.
Yes.
So so what's the difference? Like, why would not everyone just go for the NIE road and just do 4 years straight away can become teacher? Why would they want to go the local uni?
That's a good question. Because okay, for example, for myself, I like math itself. So I want to have a degree in math itself and learn more about this subject before I really go into a degree with having a diploma, a postgraduate diploma in education. And it also gave me the flexibility. Let's say if I decided that I do not want to be in mainstream schools just teaching. I want to explore other things outside of teaching. This degree do give me a fallback on what maybe in the future I want to do something. Yeah, but as of now, I have no plans for that. But what I'm saying that is it really gives me that flexibility of doing something different.
Backup lah, basically.
Yeah, it can be a backup or I just want to try something else.
Okay, so basically it provides more flexibility. Okay, so after you finally finish the entire journey, right, then you, I understand that MOE actually don't really give you a choice. You just get posted to wherever they want you to go lah, maybe by proximity or whichever. But let's say if you're already posted to this place, right, do you have any other options or can you go somewhere else? Or what kind of options are available for teachers after they become a full-fledged teacher?
Oh, okay. So in this there's what we call the teaching career and the non-teaching career in this whole ministry of education. So so if you look at this diagram over here, so there are 3 different tracks. Okay, so if you are interested in teaching, in the teaching track, so basically teaching track is for teachers who are interested to mentor even further up in the level, like mentor other teachers. So eventually there can be a master teacher, lead teacher, principal master teacher, where they will even get to teach in Academy of Singapore teachers. So for example, when I go for a course, I'll go to this academy, and whoever that is actually conducting this workshop, they are actually master teachers. Yeah, so that is one track. And another track is the leadership track. So basically, I think this one everybody should know because we are all students.
That's
right?
interesting because I thought this was the only track.
Yeah, I think back then when we were students, we thought that, teacher, then the next one is subject head, then HOD, then vice principal. But it's basically a very wide spectrum. And eventually, if you want the specialist track, it's basically you go to HQ, and then you can do in-depth review on maybe the current curriculum we have, and you want to actually come up with resources for the mainstream schools, for the government schools. So that actually is another track that you can take also.
That sounds like for people that use enough with students already.
Oh yeah, so it's possible. Like for example, right, we can have a teacher who is like teaching in the school for maybe 10 years. And then decided to want to upgrade herself or himself, and then want to just go into the headquarters to find out more about the curriculum planning. So there is this flexibility of this lateral movement where you can move in any track at the same time also. Like maybe this stage of your life you want to explore something else, so you can move. So let's say maybe I teach for long already and I just want to pursue something else. Yeah. Then after that go back into schools to teach. That's fine as well.
Okay, so actually you can go to HQ and you can still come back
as a teacher.
As a teacher.
Yes.
So you have that kind of flexibility.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so usually out of these 3 tracks, right, usually which is the most popular track that, majority of the teachers would go for?
I would say the teaching track. As a classroom teacher first. Yeah, so...
No, out of the 3 tracks, so it's the teaching track lah.
As in the teaching track. Yeah. Then the least is the specialist track, maybe about 3%.
Oh, so
and
little.
Then and then the rest is in the teaching and leadership track. Is the
I actually know another friend who moved to HQ, so she's I didn't know that she's like the 3%.
Maybe 3 to 5%. Rough percentage.
Mainly it's a minority lah. Most people actually go towards either the leadership track or the teaching track.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very interesting because teacher is a very long career path, right? Because I remember back then my geography teacher is actually also my father's geography teacher.
Oh wow! your father's teacher is your teacher also.
Yeah, correct.
So y'all went to the same school.
Yeah, because alumni ma, so we went to the same school.
Okay.
But the teacher so actually very funny because my father couldn't recognize her because last time she was.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
Then now she's.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so make sure your students, children can recognize you next time.
Then how do you know it was your father's teacher?
Because you know my father will know her ma, and then she's also someone who won. You all got that long service award.
Yes.
I think got what 10, 15
There's
years
5,
or 20
10,
years?
15, 20 all the way. Yeah.
So what's the highest?
35, 40 also have.
Yeah, so it can be very long, right? So
Yes.
actually maybe the grandkids also you teach. I don't know.
So that's interesting actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that your teacher actually taught 2 generations. Or maybe it can be even more, who knows? Because I'm actually teaching my teacher's child.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually my next question because in Singapore generally most jobs they have to follow like a standard retirement age, right? 60 plus years old, that's it. Then you have to retire already. So for teachers, based on your observation or what, are there very, very old teachers or?
I think it's very subjective because they can be retired And they can also be invited back to be a flexi adjunct teacher, which is basically they just come in and just fill in as a relief teachers. So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, at this age you retire, you cannot come back at all to back to teach. Yeah, and I also don't want to confine that teaching is just within the Ministry of Education, because it can be outside of that. You can have enrichment centers, you can be a facilitator, and eventually you can even be like a special needs educator officer also. So nowadays there's a lot of students who have special needs. So you may even want to explore that as well. So there is really a wide spectrum. You can explore anything you want. And you know, like education system, they always change all the time. It used to be just whiteboard teaching. And then now suddenly...
Used to be blackboard teaching.
Yes, blackboard teaching with the chalk. Then whiteboard teaching, right? Then after that, now you have the IT. So it's really just growing and growing and growing. And you just need to upgrade yourself as a teacher. So I would say that when you are a teacher, you are like a mentor to your students. And it's really like a lifelong mentor to everybody.
How old is the oldest teacher that you know personally?
90 something.
90 something lah. So I guess that's something that you're aiming for, right?
No lah. I would want to retire and maybe travel. That would be nice.
Travel and teach, because to you teaching is a long term. It's not just a career, but it's a passion, right? That you want to
correct. Who knows? Because you can always go
that.
overseas to teach also, and you know overseas their education system is different. Then maybe you go overseas, then you come back, and then you gain new insights, right? Then you can come back Singapore and apply it as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's very good. So I think like. Yes, it's true that, in a career, it's not just a job, it has to be a passion, right? For you to really invest yourself into something that you enjoy, something that you like in the long run. Okay, so this week is just a very brief introduction into Joanne as an educator. But next week, we'll be diving into something a bit more technical where Joanne will share with us more about, math, which is what she really likes. So, some people who are very lousy in math like me, right? Better tune in next week so you can see what are some of the tricks that she'll share with us. Maybe you can calculate your cai fan how much before the uncle tell you how much.
No, nowadays all digital already. Just tap.
Yeah, okay. So look forward to next week. We'll be sharing more on the technical aspects of math in general. Yeah. See you.
See you next week. Bye.
See you next week. Bye-bye.